God's law gives life. From Mount Sinai, from Moses, we received the 10 Commandments. These are God's commandments, not a creation of a committee or some smart person. It's God giving us the commandments. In our gospel reading, we hear how Jesus on the Mount of Beatitudes begins to explain that he ratifies the 10 Commandments. And he will go through a few of them to show that we don't just follow the external of the commandment, but we go into our hearts and see how we can love God and love our neighbor even more. Jesus will say from the Mount of Beatitudes, you have heard it is written, do not kill, but I say to you, do not even call your brother a fool. Do not even show anger to your brother. So he's challenging us to go much further. And then he will conclude the Sermon on the Mount with the great commandment. So often we hear how people want to stay away from mortal sin, how we want to follow the commandments and go down the straight and narrow path. But that can be very minimalistic. But the great commandment is to love God with all your heart, all your soul, all your strength. So we could think about that. Through the day, how do I show love for God? Yes, we are here at Holy Mass, the very best prayer. But then when we leave the church, what about all the other hours of the day? Are we mindful of loving God? Are we praying through the day? And then Jesus includes in that great commandment, love your neighbor as yourself. Love your neighbor as yourself. Yes, the commandments tell us, do no harm to your neighbor. Don't kill, don't lie, don't steal, but now he commands us to love our neighbor. So that's a whole different horizon. We're never done doing that. Intentionally, we can choose a project to show love for our neighbor. So for example, next week, the young adult group from the Cathedral will be preparing a dinner for the homeless, which will be served at the Red Door. So many volunteers will gather at the kitchen at St. Rosalia, and then the next day will be delivered to the Red Door. The children from the catechism program want to be part of it. They will provide dessert. They'll bring in cookies. So this is a set project. But then we want to go beyond that activity and say, how can I show love to my neighbor all through the day? So Jesus gives us a great challenge. So let's be mindful, let's contemplate this wonderful invitation to sharing in God's life as we respond to his grace. It's all grace. Only with God's grace can we follow the commandments. Only with God's grace can we love our neighbor. So we open our hearts in this midpoint of Lent and say, come, Holy Spirit, fill my heart with your divine power and dynamism so that I can continue to follow the way of the Lord faithfully and to respond to the greatest of all the commandments.